I'm going to read you a story from the Bible and then tell you why it's important. So this is from Genesis chapter 18, and it says that Abraham was sitting at the entrance of his tent in the heat of the day when he looked up and saw 3 men approaching. And he ran to meet them, and he did something very interesting. He bowed down and said, "My Lord, if I find favor in your sight, please do not be swift to pass by your servant. Please stay here under the tree, and I will get some water and refresh your feet." So he did that, and then they sat there and they talked for a while, and then Abraham looked up and saw a 4th man, and he wasn't like the other 3, and he says, "Surely this one is an angel of God." And he was afraid and he fell on his face. Why is this important? Because Abraham didn't know it at the time, but these men were angels sent by God to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, and he would have been destroyed with them if he didn't leave that city. But God stayed his hand because Abraham pleaded with him, and so we see that Abraham had protecting insight. He saw what was coming. He knew something was going down, and he took action to protect himself and his family. And God honored that. This is the first time in history that someone has asked me to do a reading from Genesis 18. So let's go ahead and do it. So we know that Abraham was entertaining angels, and he didn't know it was God in disguise. And he was so busy entertaining these angels, these heavenly beings, that he didn't even realize that one of them was actually God himself. And what we learn from this is that when we are seeking protecting insight, we have to be careful that we don't become so focused on the problem, that we don't take the time to seek God for wisdom. Because if Abraham had taken the time to look up and see who was really visiting him, he would have realized that God was there. And maybe if he had realized that sooner, he wouldn't have been so afraid. So when we're facing giants in our life, when we're facing problems, we have to make sure that we take the time to seek God for wisdom. Otherwise, we may miss the fact that God himself is trying to deliver us from the giants in our life. So let's take a moment right now to do just that. Let's take the time to seek God for wisdom. Know that Jesus loves you so much. So do I.